All right, up on to the next segment about pressure, burnout, and silent struggles. So, as I mentioned, that it's the target audience are young adults, as are most of the target audience of my podcast.
Yeah.
So, the pressure, burnout, and silent struggles. The reason why I've put this in is because I've been through my fair share, and so have you.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone has been through their fair share. Just here to share a little bit about it through some questions, so that people can learn about other people's perspective, which will spark off ideas in other people's head about how to deal with their own pressures, their own struggles. So, have you ever felt the need to hold it together publicly, even when you weren't okay internally?
Uh, let me start with some positive framing for your
Sure.
for your audience. You actually mentioned young audience, so here is the good news, right? The good news is that um, I think for the last 8 years, perhaps ish, I have never felt workplace burnout at all, not even once.
That is great to hear.
I mean it to the core. I have not felt workplace burnout. Again, it does not mean that I haven't had difficult situations at work. Uh, you know, managing a team or traveling or just managing a difficult project or a tough stakeholder. You know how it works. But I have never ever felt like this was burnout. Honestly, it was a part of the job. Okay, so let's not frame it as burnout. That's the way I would put it. Having said, what happens typically is when multiple things fall on your two shoulders at the same time, right? Now you are one individual who has to manage the personal life as well as the work yourself, right? And when you are having some trouble on both sides, then I think it can feel like it's weighing down on you. And yes, well, okay, to upfront, the confession is, yes, hold on. You said hold on to
Hold it together.
hold it together. I've had to hold my tears together a few times.
Okay.
It has been that tough sometimes, but it wasn't work. It was something else that happened at the same time when I was having to give my full attention to my work.
Okay.
So, for example, I remember it was like there was an experience I had. My bedtime is
Mm.
uh, my early bedtime, and I had some kind of experience in some communication with someone, a very personal thing. I It was so disturbing that I could only sleep 2 hours that night.
Oh
Okay,
dear.
and next day I had to show up smiling and full of energy, because so I had a choice. Either I say, okay, well, I can't do it today. Second choice was I set an example, which I can talk about someday. So I did hold it up together next day, and I would go out and wipe these little things and come back and again show up smiling. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is the best approach
Mm.
at all. I'm just telling you an experience, Amir. This is an experience I had. So just to, yeah.
Thanks for the bit of reflection on your part as well.
Yeah.
Um, okay, just to clarify one thing before I go to my own experience, right? When I mentioned burnout,
Yeah.
I wasn't mentioning it in a negative connotation either.
Okay.
The reason why I said it as burnout is
Yeah.
because it's the word that the youngsters use mostly
Yeah.
for school and for transitioning from classroom to career.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the burnout that they feel, right?
Yeah.
It's never in a negative
Okay.
connotation.
Okay. No. Thanks for clarifying, because I'm used to hearing this in a very negative
Totally understand.
connotation, and
Totally
and I
understand.
and I and I've therefore had to say what I said.
No
So
worries.
yeah, yeah,
No worries.
yeah,
The silent struggles though, as I think every kid has gone through, I've gone through the silent struggles of examinations.
Mhm.
Right? And the burnouts when studying for examinations. Everyone's been through that, right?
Yeah.
So I think the solution for me was simple. I just talked to my teachers and my mom about it. And usually if I talk about it or I write it down, half the problem gets solved. And the second half of it is just doing something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
That's true.
essentially solves it.
No, it's actually, I think, I call it clarity of thought. Once you
Clarity
define
of
once you
thought.
define a problem well, that's already, yeah.
Okay. Uh, this is an interesting question. Do you think modern hustle culture sometimes glamorizes exhaustion?
Well, I think glamorizes would be a little bit harsh.
Mm,
Uh, I would say normalizes it. So so uh, I often come across several of my own people. When I say my people, I mean my family members and my friends and my colleagues as well. Sometimes, like they would say that they have three meetings at one time, as if nothing happened. Now, honestly, to your audience, to me, that's a complete no. I would never have two meetings at one time. Like, how on earth is that possible, right? So, because this comment has come to me multiple times, I'm tempted to say this is a bit of normalizing the
mm.
phenomenon, right? Uh, so that is true, and I don't think that's very encouraging at all on part of the society at large. Yes.
Okay, cool.